All right, I think we're good. Let me check real quick. Oh no, I never fucking tweeted out the link. Hang
Hey, Zach, get with it. He depends on every podcast. If you don't you? Yes, you do. Did we get theme music yet?
There we go. All right. Hello, everybody.
No.
Everybody, welcome to the 5th episode of the United Voluntary Podcast. We've all had a kind of crazy fucking week. We've accomplished a lot more than we thought we kind of would. I've been all over the fucking place. Several people here have traveled all over the country and done a lot of things. And just what was it? I forgot how many days. 5 days ago. When were we in Louisville? 5 days ago.
Last Friday.
Last
Friday
Friday.
to Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. So last Friday, a bunch of people drove from all over the country to go to Louisville for Saturday, and Saturday was the year anniversary of the murder of Breonna Taylor. And that was kind of the most interesting event I've ever been into in terms of like the people that were there and what happened and how everything kind of went on. So we got two guests here today. We obviously have Caboose. I mean, if you've watched enough, you probably know who Caboose is at this point. How you doing, Caboose?
Hello. I'm doing all right. Just driving.
Driving a semi truck while on a podcast. This is new.
Yeah, I do it on mic sometimes.
I was
And
gonna
then
say,
we got
is that new for Caboose though?
true. Then we got a local boy, my buddy here, Knockout. How you doing, my man?
What's good? What's good?
And yeah, so I mean, what did y'all think of Saturday? How do you think it went?
It went very well. It didn't go. It went as planned. It went as planned. It didn't go sideways at all. The only moment that got wild was at the River Road, but other than that, it was a
Yeah.
pretty good day.
Yeah, that was real wild. That didn't expect that. I don't think anybody expected that. We'll get to that more, but getting 300 riot police deployed on like 70, 80 people chilling in front of a club, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was during the day. That was a new experience for me. It was super fun. Or I don't know if that's the right way to say stuff, but I don't know. It was a good experience. Got to meet some people and come
Hey,
out.
I mean, like spreading love and having fun. You know, that's part of like
Yeah.
remembering Brie and everything about Brie. You know, so
Oh yeah.
I think she'd be happy seeing what happened that day.
Yeah,
I
that was-
really. Somebody's mic is like screeching.
That's probably mine.
let me check.
Um,
Okay,
But,
by the way, so everybody, I'm literally doing this from a hotel in fucking DC because I'm in DC right now. We'll get to that later.
yeah. Well, the reason behind the Saturday action, I could really get behind that, and we'll go into that later after we talk about what happened during the day.
Yeah, so I'll real quick. So we well, not we, but UPG, which is Louisville, bunch of boogs, bunch of guys that've been on the ground with the Breonna Taylor event since the very beginning. They've been out there. They actually worked with the organizers and directly requested us. So we kind of all showed up. We walked up to the organizers, I think Linda Sarsour and a couple other people, and we had a conversation with them about what they expect of us, what they want us to do. We all kind of split up then and just kind of stood on corners and checked people and kept eyes on people. And definitely on me and Knockout's fucking corner, we definitely dealt with, like, I don't know about everybody else. I'd like to talk to you, Caboose, what you saw on your side. But we were on the side that immediately faced the jail. We had like multiple dudes that were like either undercovers or just suspicious motherfuckers like walking around eyeballing us. Like two of them were like, "Oh, we're security with media," but they like nobody knew them, so that was fucking.
Yeah. I was doing laps back and forth between usually the snack table and the porta johns, and usually back and forth there because there were less people there, but also by the sound truck. I mean, that one had a couple of people sitting there because there was a nice little ledge, but I don't know. It was yeah, it was different. I just tried to stay mobile and walk back and forth because I don't know. I just wanted to make sure there were people at everything, and
Yeah.
that's what I was told to do.
Yeah, because we split up like 2 to 3 people on every corner of the square because the whole event happened in the middle of this tiny park that's like surrounded by police buildings. They call it Injustice Square. And we had like 3 people on each corner and then a bunch of people wandering around. And, you know, besides like the sketchy people, nothing really happened, even though we did have, what the fuck are their names?
The Black Israelites.
Yeah, the Black Israelites came in and kind of caused a ruckus for a second, but then they left real quick too.
They did. They really just showed up and kind of walked around a little bit.
They stayed out of the park
really,
too. They were like across the street.
Yeah, they didn't really do much. Yeah, like I got heckled at a different march a lot more just for walking by them. So it's it was pretty chill. It was pretty chill. They didn't really get involved too much. They just showed up.
Yeah, and definitely like I mean, obviously I'm not local, so I'm gonna ask you, Knockout, of what was kind of like the vibe in the area before all of that? Like, was there like a lot of buzz about fucking the event and everything, and like eyes on it that were going on around Louisville before all this happened?
Well, up to that moment, that pretty much was my first protest throughout the year, because I took a break from protesting to take care of home and take care of my family and whatnot. So, but around up to that moment though, like the buzz was like 13, like Breonna Taylor, the anniversary of Breonna Taylor. And like I just kept reminding everybody, like, yo, like this is the day. Like we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if it's gonna be another day one like what happened in the beginning. But
yeah, when shit was wild in Louisville and they were fucking tear gas and fucking people every day.
Yeah. And I didn't know what was gonna happen, but it went better than what I thought it would.
And I wonder if that was just like the sheer amount of us that were fucking there. Like, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah, there were quite a few of us there.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's not that too, but I think a lot of protesters have learned throughout the year of last year, like what to look for in people that are coming there just to start, accelerist. You know what to look for now. Or have been working with certain groups, certain organizations. So you've got that solid foundation there. Like there's a lot of things that go into it that cause it to run more smoothly than, I mean, the riots last year were all completely organic. I mean, there was no group running those. That was just people pissed off. Yeah.
And then we could have that one dude in the fucking trench coat that showed up.
Right before that march. See, I thought we were walking to the march. Like I thought we were walking to set up for the march. So I was just following everybody.
Yeah,
and then we all grouped around this guy, and I was like, oh.
Because nothing
like the thing about that is though, NFAC day, there was a guy who showed up. He had like a P90, and he had like a bunch of stickers on himself, "Gun Save Lives," and it was just like with the church coat guy, a whole crowd of BLM supporters surrounded this guy, and we were trying to keep people back, and people kept swarming this dude, and we was like, yo, like, don't touch him, like, get away from him. And the same thing happened again with the trench coat guy. a bunch of people showed up out of nowhere, ready to kick some ass. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, the
I mean,
turnstile
like the
guy
dude
was saying
was
some
giving
weird
like bad
stuff.
vibes. Yeah, he was giving bad vibes or whatever, but I didn't want to swarm him like that because I don't know, but I just thought we were
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he could have literally pulled a gun and started shooting off into the crowd or whatever.
And how tight we were, we wouldn't have been able to fucking the people were packed so tight. You're not raising a rifle up when you're crowded like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like team lead was like, oh, we're gonna go do the march. Magnus, I want you up at the front. I want you one of the first people, kind of checking the intersections. And I'm like, okay. And I see him walk off, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow him. And little did I know I was following him over to fucking dude from the future. And he had a letter or something where he's like, this is the solution. Give this to Breonna Taylor's mother. And he had like a bouquet of flowers and shit. It's just weird.
Like he's the Terminator trying to reach. I don't know.
Right, like gonna pull a shotgun out of those flowers or some shit.
So I mean that's really what Boogaloo and UPG were doing is security and stuff. I saw Kitty and like some other people like building shields and stuff.
Yeah, I want to know what y'all were doing that whole time because we were so in the zone that I talked to you like one time during that whole ass event. So I want to know what you were doing there, Kitty. Like, what were you running around fucking doing?
Yeah, we were like helping paint shields. We had brought some of our shields down that they let us borrow some of their paint. And then, we were just up supporting the group that was there, getting the feel of how you guys do your stuff down in Louisville, because every place does stuff differently. So, yeah. And I was networking like with other activists that were there.
Yeah, a lot's come out of that, which is kind of cool. I'm excited to see where this all goes and what happens next. And then I guess after that, we started the march, and that was like not only funny but kind of like surreal to me because essentially what we were doing is we were like in a V formation in the front, and we were like stopping at every intersection to make sure that because Louisville's had a big problem with fucking cars running over protesters, like not accidentally, like intentionally, like
oh yeah.
Yeah, and so like we had been blocking intersections, and then we had people that filed along and essentially like boxed the march in as we walked, and then in front of us was like a big group of dudes on bikes, and they would go ahead and then block the intersection, and then we would take over for them, and we would just kind of leapfrog ahead, and fucking I remember it was like around the first corner. That's when I ran into who I'm calling Officer High Strung, that motherfucker. This dude, like I guess it's perfect. I got a different setup. This dude was literally like standing like this and going.
Yeah.
To like every fucking protester that walked by. And I'm like, dude, this motherfucker's twitchy as shit.
I mean, that would be a justified shooting if we would have shot him back. I mean, it would have made things go south, but
Yeah, like he was essentially drawing on people. Like over and over again.
He was.
Like, I mean,
yeah, it was ridiculous. If we would have done that, then us and everyone around us would have died. Yeah,
like I literally had to sit there and watch this dude like fucking flag me like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I did that to him, I'd be riddled with fucking bullets, but never made it.
Yeah. And about the cars, I mean, a lot of them were respectful and like honked and support, turned around. But there were 2 cars specifically where I went up to the intersection. One of them was creeping up on me, like almost touching my knees. And like I just had to stand there and like stare the guy in the eyes. Then there was another car that walked, and these guys had some messed up bumpers. So I was like, they've been hitting some stuff. And so
I'm about to put a new dent in your hood, homie, with my ass.
Yeah, right. Then another dude, he drove up to the intersection, and like he had a gun in his lap, and he was like, "What are you guys gonna do if I just drive straight through right now?" Like he actually asked that, and then he kept creeping up, like we were gonna move out of his way. And then I don't know, somebody's told him, "Well, hey, I'll shoot you. Like, don't do that. Don't do that thing."
Yeah, it's ridiculous too, because it was a lot of people, but the roads are really wide. So like if you got like the police were blocking the roads and doing an awful job at it, leaving up like so many open fucking gaps.
That was on purpose though.
Yeah. And
definitely on purpose.
And like if you got caught like at a stop sign or something like that, with the march going by, like you could easily turn around if you wanted to, but if you just waited there, you'd only be waiting there for like 3 minutes tops, and then the march is gone. So like the fact that like people are acting like that is crazy. And I thought when you brought up the gun guy, I thought you were talking about the dude at the intersection that was just waving a fucking handgun around, because that was like my first like heart attack of the day when that came over the radio.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard somebody be like, "There's somebody just waving a fucking pistol around."
Yeah, I didn't see that one. All I saw was the guy with the gun in his lap in the car.
Fuck.
That was, yeah, man. It was, I don't know. People are wild, man.
Why do you guys show up to protest with guns?
Yeah.
Because everybody else got them. Fuck. Yeah, and then we had the lady. That was the other heart attack of the fucking night. Was that I guess that happened between. Somebody said it was between a Black Hebrew Israelite and a protester, and then they got like a shoving match, and she got knocked down, like cracked her fucking head open or something.
Yeah.
It was a protester got into a shoving match with a Black Israelite because there's been a really big it's been pretty standoffish. People have been pretty standoffish with the Black Israelites showing up and pretty much like attacking our white allies and seeing the white devils and all this other shit. And so they was handing out these pamphlets, and people don't like it when they come to the marches and hand out pamphlets. And it got to a shoving match, and this lady was standing right behind a guy. She got knocked over. And so the protesters were trying to get the guy to leave. And I was like standing between him and the protesters, and I was trying to get him to just turn around and go away. Like, if they don't want you here right now, just go away. Like, because you're not making the issue any better by standing here and taking this ridicule, because eventually it's going to get worse if you stay here. And I tried to get him to leave, but he wouldn't leave.
That's so much of it too, is like a lot, like, you know, we don't talk about it a lot, but us asking like people to leave a lot of times, it's like for their safety too. Like maybe I don't have a problem with you, homie. Maybe there's anything, but like I can't promise that these motherfuckers won't eat you if you keep doing what you're doing. Like you need to go.
Yeah. And so like his homeboys showed up and they was like, "Aren't we free men? Aren't we allowed to be here?" I said, "You guys are allowed to be here. You have just as much right as anybody else. But this one guy has to be separated from the pack in order for you guys to stay and make sure everybody else is safe."
Because you already domed a fucking woman. Like there's already a woman down on the ground bleeding because of you, dude. Like if you don't want this to go bad, like he needs to leave. Like,
they didn't care about that because she was just another white lady to them.
Yeah.
Like I watched the video where Caboose was in the front of the march, and a guy walked up to Caboose and was like, "You're a white guy. You're not supposed to be here." And I'm like, dude, like really though? Is that what we do? I'm like, that's not what we do.
I got yelled at a couple of times, but I mean, it seemed like as soon as I was yelled at for that, so
somebody came to your rescue every time.
Yeah, one of the organizers, I guess, told Ghost to come up, and Ghost grabbed me, and we were supposed to keep the media back. And then,
because
like, as soon as we got up there,
important context for that, real quick, Caboose. The media was crowding the front of the march so fucking much that they couldn't march. Like they take like 3 steps forward, and then all these media people would be like stumbling over their shelves trying to get their heavy ass cameras back. So it literally came from the organizer of the event asking, you know, fucking everybody else, like, "Hey, can you stand in front of the protest and the media and try to just get them to back the fuck up?" And that's that the Caboose runs in, and then you can keep going with the story.
Yeah, they somebody came up to me, yelled at me to move, but I just looked at Ghost. I was like, I didn't really say anything. I just looked at Ghost to see what he wanted me to do, and he said to go ahead. So I turned around. But then one of the organizers like immediately reprimanded him and told him, "Hey, I don't know what he told him, but you could see him go over there and talk to him." And then another time we were right side heavy, so I went across like maybe 30 yards in front of the march, far enough to where I'm not in the way of anything. And then I start walking over to the left side, and like this other lady comes up and starts yelling at me, and she's following me the whole time. She's like, "You gotta move, you gotta get off to the side." And I was like, "Doing
That's where I'm going.
That's where I'm going. That's the direction of my feet." But like after the march and during the march, there were like 10, 15 people. They were like, "Hey, thanks for being here. Sorry about that other guy." I'm like, all right, Cool. Yeah, no big
Yeah,
deal.
and I'm so glad Ford caught that on camera because like obviously like Knockout, you've seen interactions like that 100 times in Louisville. Kitty, you've seen firsthand now interactions between us and BLM activist stuff. We have that, but they always say, "Oh, that never happens. Y'all are lying. You're never welcome. You're blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And in the middle of me and Caboose giving an interview to Ford Fisher, which is, shout out Ford Fisher, lady comes up and taps Caboose on the shoulder and be like, "Ignore that motherfucker. You're one of us. You Breeway. You cool." And it's like, I told you, like, we're not fucking lying.
Yeah, like the organizers would walk up to us and make sure that we were like, I don't know how much we had identifiers showing who we were, and like they knew to look for us.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there's
it.
pictures of it, everything. We had Hawaiian wristbands on, and then a lot of us had like the Georgia Rose and like Hawaiian on our patches and shit. So.
Yeah, it was like we were supposed to be there. It wasn't like we just showed up and we're like, "Hey, we're part of this now. We're going to be important because I said so and I decided to come here." It's not like we were doing that.
Like we all met with Linda Sarsour, which is insane. Anyone who doesn't know who that is, that's like the co-founder of the Women's March, and she was the one that was like putting on the event, and like we talked to her before the event happened, and she directed us of what to do. We didn't just show up,
Yeah.
Which it's funny that she's there because you think someone like her wouldn't like us, but whatever. It's unity. We ain't fucking beefing over politics. That's not what we're there for.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I guess I don't know. We all I don't even know how many people fucking interviewed us or took pictures of us or whatever. I know Ford talked to us, and then we talked to NSNBC or whatever at the end. But I don't know if anyone else like saw people like running around getting cameras stuck in their face.
I don't know. People
so many
interviewed
pictures were
me.
taken.
Yeah, Knockout caused the biggest fucking Twitter drama I've ever had on my Twitter so far over nothing.
Because of the cat?
No, yeah. Well, the dog. Somebody like I posted that picture on my Twitter, and then somebody like tweeted it or something into like a pit of fucking like conservatives, and they were just freaking. His gun's not on safe. He looks like a lifer. He's gonna shoot himself. Like they just like comment after comment after comment. I'm like, holy fuck.
The one that like somebody said 3, 2, 1. What was it? Countdown when I'm about to shoot
it was like
myself.
Negligent discharge in 3, 2, 1.
Like,
yeah, but like it's a picture of an event that already happened. Like we know that didn't happen. I don't know why they would comment that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the rifle wasn't unsafe or not, dude. Like I can see it in the picture, and I'm like, I can't see shit, dude.
Yeah, you can't see the dude. The one guy said like you can see the indication next to the next to the firing pin or whatever where you can put it on
fire
safety
selector.
or not. Yeah, the fire
I'm
selector.
like, well, that's
you put it on safety or not.
I'm gonna be like, well, that's a damn good camera, and the app that you can zoom in that far on.
Because I zoomed in so far, and at the point I could even tell where it was maybe facing, it was pixels.
Yeah,
so motherfuckers are either eagle-eyed or you just looking. You're just
looking for something to say.
Assuming politics, so like fuck off. Like that was
like
fun.
some people were talking about my politics. Like some people were talking about my politics. Like you don't know my politics. Like if you want to know my politics, just come and talk to me. I'll let you know how I feel. Yeah. Because when you have those type of conversations, that's what open people up to different beliefs, and they might change their mind about how they think about me or somebody else.
Yep, and that's what it's all about. And like, the only conversation I had with a lady on that march, I think so. Like I've been looking for it on film or a picture. I don't think it's been uploaded yet. But when we crossed the freeway to go to the left and like way down the freeway, they had those 4 cops parked in the middle of the road and they're all standing there with rifles and shit.
Yeah.
I like it got to my turn in rotation to like stand there and like there was a photographer taking pictures behind me, which I think it probably would look like such a cool fucking photo because it's just me and like 20, 35 yards down. There's these 5 cops with rifles. We're just glaring at each other. And this lady like walked up and like tapped me and is like, "What are you gonna do if they come down here?" And I just told her like, "I'm gonna stand right here." And she just tapped me on the shoulder and she's like, "Bless your heart." I kept walking.
Yeah, that's when we was on Broadway.
You know what that means, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what that means.
Yeah, she was like, "Ah, you're kind of stupid, but go ahead, man."
I know the implication of the word, but she had a genuine smile on.
Yeah.
It was a thank you for being this stupid.
Oh,
Somebody's got to do it, and it's you. Thank you.
Yep, it's my turn. And then I think Trash was the guy that was behind me, like next in rotation. So me and Trash just bounded up. But yeah, that was cool. I guess that the event, like nothing happened at the event, which was perfect. There's not too much talk about it. Like we just gave a couple. Oh God, I forgot. I had fucking BBC. I think they were BBC fucking reporters like stalking my ass. Stalking my ass. Knockout nose, dude. They were hovering like a fucking thirsty dude at the club around us for like 2 hours.
For somebody to make a mistake. They were waiting for somebody to make a mistake so they can just report about it.
Right, and they wanted to interview me so bad, and I gave them an interview in the beginning. I talked to them for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, I gotta go to work. And they're like, well, can we talk to you later? And I'm like, well, I gotta work, dude. Like, I'm not here for a photo op. Like, I have a fucking job that I'm here to do. Like, I'll talk to you when I get a chance to talk to you. And then, like, so I figured they'd go and, like, film the event or, like, talk to people. No, these motherfuckers cross the street and just sit down and just stare at us for, like,
you're celebrity,
an hour and a half.
They waited for somebody to make a mistake. They wanted somebody to make a mistake so bad just so they could report about it.
It's like, go talk to somebody else, homie. Like, fucking.
Yeah, see, everybody always.
There's like a whole Breonna Taylor event going on. Like, go find out why we're out here.
Yeah, no. You don't want to stare at the spooky dudes with guns.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
And the thing is that there were tons of people with guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
Like Kentucky's an open carry state. Like, everybody has a freaking gun.
There was that homeboy that was just walking around with a fucking Draco in his hand. There was like two other dudes I think was unaffiliated. There's one guy that said he was a Black Panther that was there, maybe two, and then there was a guy from NFAC there. So like everybody was there.
We always say every March we always like welcome to Kentucky. For real though.
Here in Lansing too, everybody's like, oh, it's a no gun protest. It's like, oh yeah, right. You know how many people are fucking concealed? Like,
yeah,
come on.
That's what I always tell them, because I tell these reporters like, oh, there wasn't as many armed people at these protests until later on in the marches. I'm like, dude, you do not. That proves to me that you motherfucker have never lived in the fucking hood. You never like fucking drove around Detroit. Never lived in Detroit. Just because you don't see the guns, don't mean everybody got guns. Like,
exactly.
Period. Exactly. Especially if the conservatives show up and shit. If there's counter protests, whatever, the conservatives are fucking concealed carrying. The BLM protesters are killed. Everyone's fucking concealed carrying. There's guns. You just don't see them.
Yeah, at the place any protest that tells me unarmed, I'm still gonna conceal. But I mean, I like the idea of having like the guns out because it's a deterrent. Like people see it and then they don't want to do stupid stuff. So that's why I'm like, we should have them out at every march.
Yeah. And we're not the only people feeling that way either, Like, again, like I said, I never caught the dude's name. It was actually two different dudes, because one dude had a wooden frame Draco, and he was just carrying that motherfucker around. And then there was another dude who had a black frame Draco.
Well, the thing is, too, is a reason that a lot of organizers don't want guns there is because then they don't get the numbers, because you have your normies or people who aren't raised around guns, aren't familiar with them, freak out. They don't get it. I think that was in a comment. I can't remember what comment, but they were like, "Oh my God, they're just walking around with guns out like that." And it's like, yeah,
dude. So fucking
And then of course there was the. They need to be taken away. Take their guns away. Blah blah blah. It's like, it's our Second Amendment right to carry guns.
Like, try with this crowd. I dare you.
Yeah.
It won't just be us. But no, it cracks me up because every town USA, which is the Michael Bloomberg backed gun control group, went after me and fucking Jafari Jones on Twitter over that. They were commenting about like the Louisville event, being like, how are you just letting them walk around with guns? What the fuck? And then like the next post, they're like, we're black allies. And it's like, dude, you're begging the cops to go arrest a bunch of fucking POC people with guns. And then you turn around and be like, we black allies. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right.
Bunch of Karen asses. Like, what the fuck, dude? They don't get it. Like, that's the funny thing. They're accidentally racist because they're just like, oh, it's all, God, a minority could never figure out how to carry a firearm.
Okay.
Okay, tell yourself that, please.
Yeah, like one guy said, like I had no training and I didn't know how to carry the gun and all type of stuff. I was like, really? Okay. Yeah, keep thinking that.
I was like, literally, just look at me. Like, literally, just look at what I'm wearing, how I'm carrying it. Like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so ridiculous.
But I don't know. And doesn't UPG, like, they actually get together and do stuff? Like, yeah. I mean, it's not like these people are coming out there.
John posts videos all the time of fucking people training and shit. Like, they probably train more than your average cop who only requires 2 hours a day, 2 hours a month at the range to be certified on his fucking gun.
Oh, to be rich.
And John always preached, like dry fire. Like, even if you're not at the range, dry fire. Like, just imagine that you're shooting at a target.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's the shit I do. I literally just walk around my fucking house with my rifle and fucking fuck around with it unloaded because I practice. But
yeah, that's what I do.
Oh, go ahead, Caboose. Because I'm gonna move on to what happened at night.
I was saying
the spicy night event. So finish what you're saying.
Yeah, that's how I did with my wife and my mom to get them into firearms. Had them do that with me for a couple hours and take them.
Just fuck around, dry firing.
Yeah.
That's
but anyways, yeah.
So then like we all pack up.
Real quick. So like with any tool, like anybody who uses power tools, whatever, just getting used to a gun is the same as using a tool. Like you can take your hand off with a freaking chainsaw, but you know what? People get used to them. It's a different type of deadly weapon, if you want to say that.
Right. I have the Clovers gang sneaking behind me to go out to smoke. What's up, brother? Okay. So, anyways, the night event. So we go home, we fucking change out, and I was told that we were all supposed to just show up in all black, but then other people didn't. So I guess we missed that memo, and we were told no guns, but then there was a bunch of guns. So it was like,
yeah, like I left my kit in the room in my car, and then I waited to get in the hotel room, trying to change in all black, and realistically, we probably just could have. I showed up late. Like the guy I was with, we ended up driving there. We were late, and then
he was on pothead time like a motherfucker. He was the latest motherfucker all weekend on everything.
I was so we were trying to he ended up getting on one of those little scooters, and I was like, oh shit, I left my phone in the car. So I was jogging next to him trying to catch up. And I was like, I showed up out of wind, and luckily I was still wearing a black Hawaiian shirt because somebody else had my little jacket, so I had to get that on real quick so I didn't stand out. But then I realized nobody else was wearing all black. Well, there were a lot of people wearing all black, but it wasn't a uniform like we were led to believe originally.
Yeah, because if I knew we were showing up with guns, I would have showed up with guns, especially what happened. So I guess Knockout, you know a little bit more about why we went there and when we went there and what that was whole about, because we didn't even know until we showed up. We're like, why are we protesting here? And then we got told. We were like, oh.
But real quick though, it was good that a lot of you guys went unarmed, because then you weren't working and you got to see what protesters go against all the fucking time. I mean, I think that was a big eye opener to a lot of people that have never been on the ground before, exactly what we've been facing every single day last year.
Yeah. So again, you want to give me the background of why we were in front of that club and what that was all about?
Go ahead, Knockout.
So
it wasn't
the plan. So the plan was to go down to River Road, go march down to Vibes, because all the celebrities from my hometown, Atlanta, Georgia, from what is it, Housewives? I don't know. It's one of those shows.
Real Housewives or whatever.
Love and Hip Hop or something. Yeah, Love and Hip Hop. The celebrities from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they were at this club called Vibes, And what the thing was, they showed up the protest that afternoon, and they had the cameras and everything out there just putting on a show. And then later on that day, they disappeared to Vibes and just to have a good time. If you come to Louisville to protest, that's what you should be here 100% of the time, just to protest, not to come here for just a minute and then go to the party, whatever.
Yeah, get some pictures for your fucking Instagram off the back of a dead man and then fucking go party.
Yeah. And so Chris was like, yo, we should. So Chris was like, we're gonna go down and we're gonna go protest. And I was like, yo, like the party's inside, but we can have the party outside in the street. And he was like, that's a good ass idea. So we go down there, me and Gun Daddy, we go down the street to stop traffic, to turn cars around and shit. And so we go down there and we're turning cars around. A Hummer pulls up on us and he's acting like he wants to drive through us. Gun Daddy's like, yo, like turn the fuck around, bitch. Like turn the fuck around. So they ended up turning around. And then all of a sudden a van pulls up. I see the van before Gun Daddy does, because there's a train track behind Vibes, and I seen the van pull up to the train track, and I was like, Gun Daddy, that's SRT. And no doubt the van pulled up on us, and it's fucking SRT. So they tell us get out the street. So me and Gun Daddy, we get out the street, we stand on the sidewalk. I tell Gun Daddy, yo, radio to all the guys that SRT's down here, and there's another SUV behind the SRT van. And so as we're doing this, I guess they spotted us on the mics. So they're like, come here. And so me and Gun Daddy, we just look at them and we turn our heads and we look back towards the protesters. And so I turn around and I'm getting ready to walk away. And then all I hear is Gun Daddy say, run. And I was just like that TikTok video, like run. And like me and Gun Daddy, we just take off running. And I'm like, I ran a track in high school. I was like, I kicked in the third gear. I was gone. Like I dropped my brand new fucking K-bar knife and everything. I was like, I was gone.
I know, because me and Ghost and fucking Pandy are all standing there. We're just talking whatever, and fucking here comes you full line of SRT's after me. We're like, what?
So real quick for everybody who's watching,
I thought Casey, because I didn't know they had stopped, because Casey said the Gun Daddy said they had stopped running, and I didn't know they had stopped running because
we just kept going.
I seen the helicopter beam. Because I seen the helicopter beam off to my left, and so I thought they were still chasing me, because I didn't know. Because like if somebody would have said like there's nobody chasing you, I would have stopped.
Yeah, like you're not gonna get arrested, bro. They're not after you. Nobody told you were good.
Yeah. What does SRT mean for people that might not know?
It's a special response team.
Yeah,
it's essentially like special forces police.
Yeah, they're the gun squad of LMP.
Yeah, those are the people that are showing up dressed like fucking Navy SEALs, like geared to the team, jumping out of unmarked vans and shit and grabbing people. That's SRT.
Until freedom came, I don't remember what day that was. There was a march in front of the Louisville Cardinal Stadium, and they had a bump in. We had UPG members had a bump in with SRT, because our friend Officer Pearsons decides that when all the LMPD officers got called away, our friend Officer Pearsons decided, hey, let's turn around and walk back and bump chests with one of the biggest members of UPG, Bravo, and let's talk shit to him. And Bravo, he held his tact and he was like, yo, come get your guy, because he don't want this. And then like Officer,
I think I know who you're talking about too. Like I don't know his call sign, but I think I've seen him in pictures. And yeah, that's not a motherfucker I want to tussle.
Yeah, he like we call him Bravo because he looks like Johnny Bravo. And so yeah, because he has to hear like Johnny Bravo. And so so LMPD comes and gets him, and they drag him away, and it's like And like ever since then, like we always had bumpers with SRT. Like even the day when John and his ex-girlfriend Jasmine, when they got bum rushed by LMPD crossing the street because John is a fucking asshole, and he gives the officer a plate vibe. He's like, yo, he said you got level. He said, what level are those plates? And he and he knocks the safety. Then he knocks the safety off his AK on his AK. I was like, bro, why the shit would you do that? And
Yeah,
they
John's reckless. I love that boy.
Yeah.
He's reckless.
Yeah, John is a fucking dick. And they fucking bum rushed him, and they took his Glock off his side, and he was like, his serial number on his stamp on his gun is BLM. I can't remember what the numbers were on it. I think it was like 502. It was like BLM 502.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was his serial number on his Glock, and it was like, yo, like they was like, his Glock is better than ours. Like he had a nice mag. He had a nice mag wheel. He had the red dot sights on it. I think he even
John's always fucking kidding.
Yeah, tacked out. Yeah, he's tacked out. He was always tacked out. Yeah.
Hopefully he gets free soon because he ain't done nothing fucking wrong.
Nothing fucking wrong.
He ain't done nothing fucking wrong. But anyway, back to the story. We all marched down there and everything, and like cars were coming through the whole time. Like people, like up until LMPD showed up and started blocking the freeway, like people were driving by. Like the road was not blocked.
No, we took one lane going up, and then when we got to the club, we occupied.
Right. But that's what I mean. By the time we got to the club, there was already LMPD behind and in front of us.
Yeah.
Fucking parked on the side of the road and shit, like waving people by. Like they blocked the road first. They were telling people to leave first. A couple people ignored them and kept fucking coming, even though they were like had put their lights on and were out their cars and shit, stopping traffic. But like the official police report or whatever said that we were blocking traffic. It was like, you guys did it first.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I can get behind this action is like, I think everybody should, because exactly like Knockout was saying, you have these people come down, they get their pictures taken, they're taking the attention away from the family because they're there with their media. And then, the organizer was saying later that night, like, y'all come to Louisville, but what have you guys put back into the city? You just come here to get your pictures, get your clout, get your fame. And you
take from us, you don't give none, no.
Yeah. And so now we're gonna make a ruckus in front of your shit.
I mean, obviously we all got kicked out of the area, but I wonder like if they had to shut that club down or whatever, because there was I gotta get to the point of the story. So so they start blocking the roads off, whatever, and then fucking LMPD comes up and like with a couple cruisers and they start arguing with some activists or whatever. We all line up all the activists start lining up in front of the cops and shit. And then like there's some arguments, we're standing there, we hang out. Couldn't have been longer than like 15, 20 minutes, Kitty. Like it wasn't long. We were chilling there. And all of a sudden here we just see like out of a fucking Star Wars movie or something, just boom, 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 coming down the sidewalk. Riot cops. As far as the fucking eye could see. Bearcats pull up, fucking like literally, and I took the picture. I posted it on Twitter of like almost for like an entire half mile, like shoulder to shoulder, riot cops. They brought out every fucking officer, and they wanted to fight. They wanted to riot. Like that's why they came out.
They were excited about it.
Yeah, they were antsy.
There was at least 4 cops to every protester, if not more. Like
Easily.
it was excessive amount of police force of them squashing and saying that we can't be out there protesting, which is a First Amendment right. And then the line of cars lasted at least a fucking mile.
Yeah, like we literally walked from the club back to the parking lot we were at, and we never stopped passing cars for like half a mile, something like that. Just cop car.
And I mean,
unmarked cop car, fucking SWAT car, fucking just all the way down.
Yeah, but like I was talking to you the other day about it. Like they showed up in force, but it wasn't because they were worried or it wasn't because there was a threat. Because they all lined up in one space, they all got together, they created a soft target where if there was any real danger of something happening, then they would have been a very easy target to take out. So they didn't care about actually being dangerous. They just all wanted to show up to fight.
Yeah,
It was fun for them.
Again, like maybe not counting cars that joined the protest or cars that drove down to join the protest, like accident, like, oh, there's a protest. Well, fuck it, we're parking the car and honking the horn, dancing on the hood and shit. Besides that, there was only like 6 vehicles or something on that road. Like this was like 8 o'clock on like an unpopular fucking road in the middle of like off downtown, like not even in the main area of Louisville. There's like barely any traffic. We see barely anybody, and they deploy 300 riot cops on a totally peaceful protest. Nothing got broken. Nobody was yelling at anybody. Nobody's harassing anybody. Just totally fucking chill. They come down with the whole goddamn LMPD.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Like I said, to the folks who don't understand what's going on, like, yeah, literally, like so often they escalate this shit because they were flashing strobe lights in armed men's eyes and shit. Like Ford Fisher posted that video. They're literally sitting there to fucking like Ghost and a bunch of other dudes flashing strobe lights in their eyes and fucking like playing with their fucking rifles and shit. And it's like,
and then they brought out the audio thing too.
Yeah, the LRAD, DJ LRAD.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised. Like I thought I was gonna, because I was like, shit, I forgot to bring earplugs, you know. But one of our activists, it affected her ears, but the rest of us were kind of like, well, that wasn't bad, but I don't know, maybe they didn't have it at full force.
Yeah, that was like 30% of what they can do. Those things can like shake your fucking bones.
They put it out there and they were saying, oh, it's like a noise weapon like thing, and I was thinking like it was like one of those cartoons where they set up the big circle and like shoots a noise wave at you. I thought it was about knocking you over or some shit.
But I've had an LRAD. That's what it is. It's a long range acoustic device. It's LRAD. I've had one of those blast at me, and like even if you have ear protection in, like it's a kind of loud that like just hurts your fucking brain. Like you're literally getting blasted with sound waves. Those things are awful. And they brought that out for us. Nobody threw rocks at them. Nobody even yelled at them really. Like it was fucking. It was nothing. And
well,
but I mean, like nobody was like pushing them and getting in their face and screaming. Yeah. So, like people were yelling ACAB from fucking 5-6 feet away, but like there was no aggression. There was nothing to justify what the fuck they did. Yeah. So that just pissed me off.
Then our group was the last one in the street. I was like, we gotta go.
Like, I know, because literally fucking go like I'll everyone in UPG's tapping me on the shoulder like, get the girls, we're going, dude. This ain't a fight. We ain't fighting this. We're like there's fucking hundreds of them. Like we need to leave. And I come to you and I'm like, we need to go.
Yeah, like I was trying to stay back with them, so I didn't want to leave
because I kept like I didn't have my radio on me, so I kept like having to run away, and then they're like, go get them, and I run back, and you're like, oh well, never mind, it's fine. And I run back, and they're like, no, we're fucking leaving. So like, okay, that's why I remember I came back and told you guys, I'm like, they're gonna give you one more warning, and then you're all going to jail. So either you're staying here, and I'm gonna have to learn how to drive stick shift, or we're leaving.
I don't know,
because I gotta be in DC fucking Monday, so I'm not gonna risk.
You're like, peace out, I'm taking your car.
I'll fucking put it in first gear and just drive all the way to Michigan.
No!
I didn't really understand the whole one more warning thing because it kept coming over and I was like, was that the one? Was that one it?
Right.
Then,
well, that's the thing is every time they gave a warning, like they started to wrap us. Like they started like coming around,
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, well, because when we were just standing off face to face with them, that's one thing. But then, like, when they started wrapping around the side and then we started seeing, like, coming from the parking lot and shit, it's like,
So, Knockout, do they give, like, a certain amount of warnings before they let off gas and stuff like that?
No, they do not give any type of warning at all.
It's
like as soon as they show up, they just start shooting gas off. They start shooting rubber bullets at people and shit. Like in the beginning, that's what they did, but then like they got to the point where they would be like, you are you're on public property. If you do not leave, we will start arresting people. And so then like they'll pull up and they'll arrest like one or two people, and then they'll pull off. But like I think like one protest they pulled up and they arrest like a whole entire group of people, and they bust a couple of heads I guess to deter people, like scare other people to make them go away. But like lately, that's how they've been doing things. But before, they didn't give any type of warning at all.
Yay, protect and serve, protect and serve. Yeah, it's just wild just how they do it so much. But then, yeah, after that, we just left. We all left because like we were kind of bullshitting them and walking while we got back to our cars. They grabbed some fucking lady and pulled their car over for like they said they were recklessly driving because one of the kids was hanging out the window, and they like
Yeah,
fucking dragged her and the fucking kids out
I
of the
seen that
car.
lady
Like,
on our way there, and she did have some kids hanging out the window, yelling and screaming and stuff. They were dancing
yeah.
in the hood.
And it's like okay, well, okay, they're recklessly driving because the kids are hanging out the car, but now you just fucking took their car away, and now they're just stuck here, and you're towing the car. You know what?
Yeah,
You just left a mother and a bunch of kids in a fucking active riot
parking
zone
lot.
with no
Yeah,
means to leave. Like, good job, that helps.
Well,
yeah.
they actually. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, knockout.
No, you're okay.
Oh, they held her, left the kids, like took the kids out of the car, towed the truck. Like they were gonna take her to jail. And it's like, what, you just gonna leave the kids with a bunch of strangers? Like what?
Yeah.
Was riot cops and SRT coming down threatening to fucking tear gas anyone that is in the area? Like,
Yeah.
have fun, kids.
Yeah. Luckily she was released, but like you had mentioned, they released her. She's got no car. She's there with her kids. Like, awesome.
And I definitely think you shouldn't be bringing your fucking kids to that. Like, she's dumb for it. So I don't have. I still like my empathy has limits, but just how the police handled it, like, okay.
We stress
I mean,
that to people,
apparently
don't
that's
bring
what
your
we're
kids to
for.
the protest.
Yeah,
What was
like,
that?
we're not going to be able to get we're not going to be able to drive your kids anywhere safe, ma'am. I'm sorry. Like, we're not going to, don't bring your kids to a fucking, bringing them to the day protest is fine because that was just a march. That's, that's a parade, essentially. That's cool. Yeah. But moon's out, goons out. Don't bring your fucking kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you know that the event is going to get spicy, I wouldn't even bring my 16-year-old,
Yeah.
So,
and these were young kids, so it was like that was probably the worst part of the event was like why you have these little babies running around, But whatever, everything can't be perfect. There's always going to be, get 100 people together. There's going to be at least one idiot.
I don't know. One lady, she saw me on the radio, and she was like, "Oh, he's security. He'll walk with us." And it's like, "Oh, you don't have anything to worry about. Security's with us." And I was calling over the radio. I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I need to see you guys. Hey, I'm doing this. I'm a little afraid for these children."
I can let my 6-year-old kid slap on the hood of a police car. Security's here.
Yeah. I was like, what do you think I can do? Like, I'm one dude.
Yeah, that was the one iffy part of the event. I was like, ugh. But whatever. Nothing happened. She obviously, like, sorry for the kids. I feel bad for the kid, but hopefully she'll learn her lesson of, like, don't do that shit. That's shit dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, it does boil down to, like, money for babysitting, and people do want their kids to witness this, we're fighting for our civil rights and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just nighttime events, man. Like, it's just different.
Yeah, like I mentioned,
when the sun goes down.
It is a good thing to see, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I don't know. That was pretty much that event. After that, we went home. None of us got arrested. Everything was cool. Everything went well. Fucking I've had a bunch of people hit me up since then. It's really funny. And I don't know. What do y'all think? Like to wrap up, I guess. What do y'all think in general? Anything else I missed? Anything kind of how you felt about it?
Do you want to talk about the one arrest?
Oh fuck! I totally forgot about Nate, bro. Okay.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah,
So what happened with
I
him?
don't know. I
never
feel
heard
like an
anything else
asshole
about
for that
him.
one. Shit. Yeah, we had a guy. He wasn't unarmed, but he was concealed carrying, so they didn't know. So he was the only person with the group that wasn't like openly strapped at some point, and he was walking around with the Guy Fawkes mask and the anonymous mask, and he was with another group of 2 people, and he's like, I'm gonna walk to the liquor store. It's like a block away from the square, and I'm gonna get a drink and I'm gonna get some cigarettes. And like he's like, okay, you know that. Then we're like, all right, go with somebody. So he leaves with 2 people, and then the next thing I hear, oh, Nate got arrested. Nate got arrested. We're like, what? Like, yeah, they literally rolled up, snatched his ass, and threw him in a fucking car, like fucking goon style. And we ended up finding out later that it's over a federal warrant based out of Arizona for putting stickers on the FBI building. That's what they grabbed him for.
Yeah.
It was I don't think it's felonious, like federal level, like destruction of federal property or something like that. Something bullshit for putting stickers
That's
on
what
it.
they do with our tax dollars.
Yep. Exactly.
So they black bagged his ass and threw him in a fucking police cruiser, like 7 states away, over putting some stickers on our FBI building.
Yeah, I remember we were all super nervous after that happened, because then we were like, because the other guys, they walked to their cars and we were like, where is everyone at? We were calling.
Yeah,
out
they
radio.
were coming over the radio for a second. I'm almost wondering if our radios were jammed or something, because we were getting really bad like signal feedback and shit. And we couldn't hear anybody, and we were like asking like, where y'all at? Are you good? You good? Someone just got grabbed, and they ended up showing up later and being perfectly fine. But like we were freaking out for a minute.
Yeah, I was thinking they were wrapping up everybody, and then I realized that nope, just the one guy. But still, that was as soon as that happened, though, I started seeing cops and stuff on the roofs and just like looking down at us, and I was like, oh, that's sketchy.
Yeah,
they've been there all day. They were there all day.
Yeah, I looked up and I couldn't see them usually when I looked up there, but then that time they were all like hanging over the ledge, and I was like, oh, they're getting very conspicuous right now.
Yeah,
that was fun. We pretty much had cops watching over us like the whole event, but towards like increasingly as the day went on, more of them, like more and more on the building looking down at us. But I guess he's okay now. I don't know, like he's apparently out or something. I haven't followed up on it too much yet. I gotta find out exactly what he's being charged with, like why they, like, you know, because we know why he got grabbed, but what is he being charged with? You know, because they can grab you for a fucking late parking ticket and then charge you with something else. You know, that's just the excuse to get cuffs on you and get you in the system. But I don't know what he's being charged with yet. So we're gonna see that, and I'll keep people updated on that. But he's good so far. I think he's out. He's fine. He's at least talking to people. So
that's good. I haven't noticed. I haven't kept up with him at all. Well, I mean, I've tried, but I haven't got any new info.
Yeah. So I'll keep it in. And yeah, that was that pretty much. I don't know. Anyone else got anything else to add on that?
For Louisville?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think I'm pretty good.
So you guys, I don't have anything else about Louisville.
Yeah, because we got to go through like 3 different events. So I'm going to be fucking grabbing somebody in a second from where I'm at in DC. So I guess moving on from that. So then I got invited out to go to a fuck censorship and Action for Assange event.
All right,
which
Julian
Assange event. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Knock out. Thanks for showing in.
All right, see you, man. You want to throw me in the background?
If you want to chill, Caboose, you can chill.
Okay. What's the 3rd event you guys are covering?
Oh, the 3rd event, we're just going on what we're going to be doing later. So if you want to pop back in on that.
Okay, you could just put me in the backstage, and because I'll still watch.
See if I can do that in my
lurker. I just want to watch.
So yeah, I went to DC. This is the Clovers for Assange. It's they're doing like an annual action to raise awareness for Julian Assange, and that's why we were here. We've been here for 2 days. I marched up. I'll cover it all when I grab homegirl. But I came out here. I'm staying with all these folks, and there was also the second event was fuck censorship in front of Google, CNN, Fox, and everything, because a lot of the people that I'm with actually they do independent live streams. Like they'll go to these events and live stream these protests and these riots. They were at the January 6th riots, and like CNN and and Fox and all these people stole their footage and didn't pay them for it, and then they got kicked off of YouTube for posting that footage because it was graphic or whatever content. So literally, like the big corporations can like steal this footage, and while the people who actually took it got kicked off of YouTube. So it's just this big clusterfuck. So I'll go into that. I'm gonna take a real quick, like 2-minute break tops. I'm gonna go grab Misty. She is Comrade Misty on Twitter. She's one of the Actions for Sonic people. We'll get in here. We'll talk about everything we did today. So let me just go grab her in the other room and get all that shit, and I will be right back, everybody.
Do you want me to talk about what's going on Saturday while you're doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm turning my camera off real quick,
It's
and
gonna
you
be
can just
so weird
bullshit.
just sitting here talking by myself.
Oh, come on, you're popular. Everybody loves you.
So Saturday in Lansing, we'll be doing, it's a statewide march, or we're having everybody from the state come to Lansing. It's called the People's March. It's against ICE, stopping evictions, what else? The pipeline. There's 13 different organizations, last I checked, that are coming. They each cover a variety of issues. And so what this march is doing is trying to get people together to bring awareness to each of these issues. And our local group, a couple local groups are in it. We the Free People is going to be leading the march. But that will be Saturday at 1 p.m. in Risdale Park. And that's where we're starting in Lansing. So yeah, hurry up, Zach. I don't know what else to talk about. So yeah, some of the topics, like I mentioned, were abolish ICE, stop evictions, the pipeline, Black Lives Matter, of course. And I'm sure now with what happened in Georgia, we're going to be touching on the Stop Asian Hate. So yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be a good time. Good time. Where's Caboose? He should have put Caboose back in here so we can talk.
You have to sit in this chair though. It's gonna be weird. Whatever. We're doing this ghetto version.
I love weird. Weird is excellent.
Hi.
Hi.
This is my co-host Kitty. She's been running around doing everything crazy with me.
Hello.
This is Misty. She's
Hi.
one of the organizers.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Hi Kitty. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I hope everybody can hear me okay.
Yeah.
This is the most ghetto live stream.
This is like very interesting setup you got here.
I had to do what I had to do.
So professional.
Yeah. So I don't know if you just want to break down like why we were out and what we did.
Yeah. So yesterday we were out at CNN, Google, Fox. We marched from building to building, which was awesome. We got to attract a lot of attention to ourselves.
We had a van actually that was following us that had the Jillian's face on it and everything. We had like a police escort, so we shut down like downtown DC parts of it for a solid minute while marching.
We definitely got a lot of attention this time. Just the fact that we were blocking traffic in the middle of the day. And Magnus is right. The truck, I mean, any other St. Patrick's Day, we probably would have just been ignored. Like, oh, it's a bunch of weirdos on St. Patrick's Day. But the Assange truck with his face on it really called attention. And we had that both days. They always help us out in DC. We do the same people every time, and they're amazing. And then today we were back at the Department of Justice, which in January we were also at when the extradition hearing took place. So we were back at the Department of Justice. It was rainy, it was cold, but it was awesome. There was a good turnout even despite the weather, and we had a lot of fun. And yeah, it was a really good 2 days of events, I think.
You said guys that's like the biggest like in DC at least. Like,
yeah, I would say it rivals day one that we had in January. In January it was really interesting. We actually had a lot of independent media journalists at our events. So that I thought that was really interesting. This time it was a lot more, I was really happy to see it was a lot more of like people we see on Twitter a lot. who were coming out to support us. So
it's kind of almost like a big like YouTube chat.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like I met a guy named Richie who he was down here. His partner was supposed to come, Max, but he couldn't get out of work, and so he came down instead. And a lot of people were telling us it's like their first time participating in like some kind of direct action. A lot of people had their own direct actions in their hometowns. Like there were a couple of people. It was just them. 2 people and some signs, and they went out and hung up some flyers and waved at some people on the streets. And that to me, that's what this is all about. Like that's our goal, is to kind of get people in the streets more and make it more approachable and easy. And so I'm really excited about the past 2 days that we had.
Yeah, I always say, like, if you have to be the one idiot on the street corner with a sign, then go be that person.
Yeah.
Eventually you just won't be the one idiot. There'll be more people. You'll attract attention. Let's go next time.
Well, and that's what I've been trying to match make on Twitter. If you're an Assange supporter or a free speech supporter and you want to do something in your area, but you're a little bit nervous to do it by yourself, I get that. Hit me up on Twitter and I'll try, like I've been trying to post people, your general area, and then you can kind of maybe hook up with some people so that you can all go out and organize together. We're going to have to start organizing locally and really like coming together in that way. So, I mean, we're trying to make that as approachable as we can on Action for Assange. So yeah, I'm excited for, where we're headed.
Yeah, we're actually, I tried to set something up in Michigan, but just like planning for Louisville and then planning to drag my ass out here, we couldn't get something. But I'm talking to Andrew, another Action for Assange guy. He might come to some of our events, and then I also want to set up, if it works out, something in Ann Arbor, because Ann Arbor has a Google like mini headquarters there, and there's obviously like the DOJ and stuff in Detroit, to get like something Michigan based to spread that. Because I'm always willing to just go out and yell at people. It's great. So I'll do it in my own backyard if I have to. Yeah, it was fun. We were cruising around on scooters. Like we were talking to people. We had the one heckler guy in the beginning. That was fun.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought about going to talk to him, but I just really didn't want to like.
He started dropping like homophobic slurs and shit.
Yeah, at first when I first heard him, I was gonna go approach him, but then when he started being really ridiculous, I was over it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, we had a lot of people like honk their horn and wave, and a couple guys yelled "Free Assange," and that's always cool. Just to get like random like driver-by support. So yeah, I definitely think this was a good effort for sure. It's always a good effort.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Just in case somebody doesn't know who Julian Assange is, can you do like a real quick?
Oh my God!
You can get her talk for hours about this.
I know.
Most people know, but just in case you're under a fucking rock, because there are still some. Give us the quickest.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like the last person asked for like the quickest, because I tend to go on rants. Okay, so Julian Assange is the co-founder and former editor of WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks was founded in 2006, and they were the ones who helped publish the Chelsea Manning leaks. They were also very helpful with Edward Snowden. Jesus, I can't talk. I'm trying to like condense it, and I'm like really nervous now because I can really rant about this. So yeah, I mean, if you've heard of like the Iraq war logs, the Afghanistan, there are so many things. Vault 7. If you don't know who WikiLeaks is, you should 100% go figure that out.
They're very much infamous for running around exposing the U.S. for committing war crimes and spying on everybody.
Yes, they have a 100% record of accuracy too, which no other media organization on planet Earth ever, I think, in history can brag to that record. So they are extremely influential, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Julian Assange revolutionized journalism. I know that sounds very fangirl. I'm not a fangirl. That's just a fact.
No, you're a cult leader.
I am a cult leader. That's a true story. But yeah, so he really did revolutionize journalism. And I think most journalists today would agree with me, because they all use that now, that Dropbox, where they can, sources can anonymously bring them information. And so they really did revolutionize the profession. I think that, most people would agree with me, and many journalists have. That have spoken up in the past. So like John Pilger and Chris Hedges, and yeah. So if you don't know who Julian Assange is, you should definitely do some research on that. I would be happy to help you. Like I said, I can talk about this for hours.
And then what obviously, like, what happened to him and why we're out for him?
So as you can well imagine, he exposed war crimes. So he made a lot of very powerful enemies. Those people have spent a decade-long smear campaign, propaganda campaign against this one man, trying to destroy him as a human being. so that they can manufacture consent for the way that he's being treated now, which is that on April 11th, it will be 2 years since he was kidnapped from the Ecuadorian embassy and trafficked to Belmarsh, which is the UK's Gitmo. It's not in
How long did he sit in the Ecuadorian embassy in the UK?
7 years. So he was arbitrarily detained previously for 7 years, and then he was dragged out and essentially kidnapped and trafficked for a $4.5 billion EMF loan to Ecuador. And he was then trafficked to Belmarsh, where he sits still today, being tortured. And it will be 2 years on April 11th that he will have been there for that. Basically for just doing journalism, like things that journalists do every single day. Right now, a journalist is probably doing the exact same things that he is being.
But he just hit a little too close to home.
Yes.
He exposed just a little bit too much,
Yes.
and they killed him for it. And it's funny because I didn't even know, I learned about it today, that he was treated so poorly in that prison that the prisoners went on strike, and he had to be moved into solitary confinement. Because essentially how they were treating him pissed people off. Like, again, like probably like a lot of hardened criminals. Like he was in with murderers and shit. Like,
yes, this is Gitmo, like the UK's Gitmo. It's terrorists. It's not to say that all those people are, legitimately in
terrorists according to the government.
Right. Yes, but you know what I mean. Like he's not in like some Club Med sort of prison situation. This is like a legitimate prison. And yeah, he's being treated horribly. I mean, he went all winter without his warm clothes. The prison has had them since October. They've been in the storage facility at the prison. He was insulating his window with books. And they wouldn't give him his warmer clothes. He was given a laptop with a keyboard, or the keyboard was all glued down. He can't participate in his own defense.
Yeah, he had no access to his legal team.
Yes, he can't meet with his lawyers. He can't. There's like a waiting list for telephone calls, so he can't speak to his family on a regular basis or his lawyers. He can't participate in his own defense because he doesn't have a computer or access to his legal papers. I mean, his human rights have been violated he was spied on while he was in the Ecuadorian embassy. There's a court case in Spain right now about that, an espionage case about the United States government and a Spanish security firm spying on Julian Assange. The exact same thing that they're accusing him of doing, essentially, they were just caught doing to him. So his conversations with his lawyers were all spied on. His human rights have been violated repeatedly, over and over again, for over a decade, but especially over the past 2 years. It's really kind of something to behold. So yeah, everybody should pay attention to what's happening to him, because if they can do it to him, they'll do it to anybody. Yeah, and I'm rambling. Sorry, that's what I do. Sorry.
No, that's a good primer on it. But really, like they've done everything they could to fuck with this man. Like his partner has received like multiple like fake confirmations of death. Like they'll literally call her and be like, "Oh,
just happened the other day."
Yeah, they'll tell her that her partner died, and like lie about whether he's alive or not to like traumatize her. They've spied on his family. They spied on his lawyers.
They stole one of his baby's diapers, or they tried to see if they could do a DNA test and figure out if it was his kid. It's like a whole thing. It's bad.
Wow.
I don't think there's like a single indivival that like the United States is more prolonged, just like fucked with over a longer period of time than Jillian. Over the most minute bullshit, like things.
It's not really minute. They expose.
Well, I mean, like minute in the scheme of like if you consider that crimes, then like other people are committing infinitely worse crimes, and there's dictators and like fucking famous like pedophiles and stuff, and you're torturing a journalist.
Well, he exposed war crimes, and the only people that ever were punished for what the war crimes that were exposed were the whistleblower and the publisher. No war criminal has ever seen the inside of a courtroom. It's only the people who have exposed it, and that's kind of
Yeah, because like one of those was infamously the helicopter cam where they
collateral murder.
They killed a bunch of journalists and kids and stuff, and
two Reuters journalists, the kids didn't die, but they were shot at. There was a lot of if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It will rock your world, I'm sure.
Make you hate the government.
Yes, if you didn't before, you would then. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely and I guess the last part of that is the whole thing we were chanting about is that they're trying to currently extradite him to the United States so they could charge him here. And pretty much if he ever touches
he'll
U.S.
be charged
soils,
like behind closed doors.
Yeah, he's going to disappear. If he ever gets trafficked out of the UK to the United States, if he ever touches fucking American soil, he's fucked. So we were out chanting, no extradition. Like, do not extradite him to the United States. Like, whatever you fucking do. And that's kind of like the next stage of the fight. Like, we're trying to get it to where he's at least not extradited, because they're still trying to do that, and then eventually, hopefully,
that's under appeal. Yeah, he should be out on bail now while it's under appeal. But nothing about this case makes any sense whatsoever. He shouldn't even be there. But the fact that the extradition was denied and he is still in prison is really pretty ridiculous, especially we're in the middle of a pandemic. Whatever you think of the pandemic, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everything's locked down. It's not like he can go anywhere, and he's one of the most recognizable figures on planet Earth, and they won't let him go because they say he's a flight risk. I mean, he could be on house arrest right now rather than sitting in Belmarsh. His case is under appeal. The extradition was denied by a judge, by the way, who said that the reason he was not being extradited is because he was in a precarious state mentally. His mental health is not well. As you can imagine, he's been tortured psychologically for over a decade, and he spent the past nearly 2 years in a maximum security prison. So he's not in a good place. And so the reason that they denied extradition was because there's a potential, there's a possibility that he could kill himself. And yet they keep him in oppressive conditions, which is no doubt going to make that worse. So it doesn't make any sense. They want to have their cake and eat it too, and it's like they're just trying to kick the can down the road in hopes that he will, maybe just die in prison, and they can kind of sweep it under the rug or something.
They don't want it to go to like an actual trial.
No, because nobody wants to be the bad guy. Nobody wants to be the person that kills the First Amendment, because that's what this does. That's why we have to keep, doing what we're doing here and trying to call attention to it, because they really are destroying the First Amendment in broad daylight, and nobody's really talking about it, because they've managed to make a caricature out of Assange that nobody gives a shit about. And free speech and free press is kind of an abstract concept. It's not something that people think about on a daily basis. So they are very much slow walking us into our own demise on this issue. And we need to try to keep that from happening.
So what's your guys' next actions and stuff? Like, what do you got planned?
Okay, so we don't have anything solidly planned as of yet, but April 11th, like I mentioned before, will be the 2-year anniversary of Julian Assange being pulled from the Ecuadorian embassy. So we definitely want to have some stuff going on. We want to do some West Coast events. We have some West Coast people out there who really want us to come out there, who have wanted to come to DC events and just can't make it. So we were thinking of maybe doing something out that way, maybe at Google or something like that. But we don't have anything solidly planned yet. We also want to start trying to build up the more localized protests. So like I said, if anybody has, if you want to get more involved locally and you want to have me help you find people in your area, that's what we need to start doing. So if we can start making those connections, and then we can have, kind of sister protests all across the country, all across the globe. I mean, we had 14 cities today, internationally participating in events yesterday and today. We just need to keep building that. We need mass public pressure. So whatever we can do to build that, that's what we're going to be trying to figure out. So we don't have anything solid yet, but we will definitely be doing something on April 11th, because that is the 2-year anniversary of him being pulled out of the embassy. So I guess just you can check out actionforassange.com. All of our stuff will be there. You can check out the vigils and all that stuff. And
because you guys do a weekly vigil. I usually
twice a week. Yep. Yeah. And then obviously on Twitter, that's about all we have figured out right now. Now we're
what's your handle real quick so I can get people over?
So I'm at Sarcasm Stardust. I think the Action for Assange one is at action 4_Assange, or maybe it's action_4. I think it's action_4.
One of those.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Andrew usually does that bit, so I don't know. Whatever. You guys can find it. You're smart.
Yeah, I'm always retweeting their stuff and being annoying. Yeah, because I promised them that I would.
And I tweet a lot, so I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah, if you want to see someone just utterly tear apart politicians, follow her on Twitter. She's the best. I love it. It's the greatest.
I have very little patience. It's okay.
Yeah, it's been a stressful week too. So it's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anything else you want to add before you run on to a different show in the other room?
Yeah, but I do have to go because there's another show going on over there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I don't know why I was yelling. I'm like, bye.
It's so funny because this is a true story, Airbnb, and everyone that's staying here runs a podcast. So there's multiple shows going on and people running. I'm the one. I mean, I guess it's weird to say. Seeming I am literally podcasting right now, but fucking, it's weird. I'm probably the only person that isn't a podcaster here. So it's it's cool. It's been a lot of fun here. They've definitely welcomed me fucking family. You have Combo Couch here, you have Frank Analysis, you have Slow News Day, you have Glory, who's one of my favorite activists. I posted a picture of her fucking hype machine. There's one she can get a fucking crowd going. She's awesome. I've been chilling with them this whole time. And these are all the folks that brought me on after Jimmy Dore. So this is cool that we all got to meet up and everything. And I've been on pretty much all of their shows. So now one of them been on my show. So it's just cool and shenanigans. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
So-
we'll pretend
It's
we'll
pretty cool.
pretend that you asked about
Well-
Jillian Kitty because you're not the one who doesn't know about him. We'll pretend.
No, I've looked him up.
Okay. You just
I don't
told me
know. I
one
don't
time
know
you're
a
like, I
whole
don't
lot
give a
about
fuck
it.
about politics. All I care about is action. It's like,
I know, but I look stuff up. But we may have viewers that don't know.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of good to get in that habit
I
of
mean,
we know what we're talking about, but not everybody knows
I
what we're
didn't-
talking
What were you gonna say, Caboose?
yeah, like I didn't know everything she was saying. Like I thought it was like a reporter who was arrested like within the last couple of years, and I was like, oh,
No, yeah.
this shit goes deep.
He literally
So,
had to
and
live
I'm
in
guessing
the
that's what most people think.
Yeah, it's he literally had to live in the Ecuadorian embassy for years in like a room that's not much bigger than this room. And like he lived there. Like he never left once. He could never go outside. Like he was trapped in that room for years and years and years. Then he fucking sat in jail for years and years and years. And now they're trying to extradite him. So essentially, like this dude, without a trial, most importantly, like he hasn't been charged with anything yet, has already sat over a decade in a box because of the fucking government wants to kill him. And infamously, like Hillary Clinton or some shit was talking about, like, why can't we just drone strike the Ecuadorian embassy and just get rid of this motherfucker? So that shows you like how the government, like, they hate this dude. He hit too close to home. Like they're terrified of Jillian.
I think more people should be doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
I think everyone should be doing that.
And I gave two speeches. My first one I was not prepared for, but the second one I was a little more prepared for. I brought about how like so many people are like, oh, we don't need to care about the Assange thing because he's just one dude. But like the idea of like thought crime and speech crime, like that's what got like Lauren Reed, the indigenous activist in Arizona. He's facing 10 years in prison for painting rocks. And then we obviously have John is sitting in prison for speech crimes. Daniel Baker in Tallahassee is sitting for speech crimes. And that all like started with Jillian and has like continued onwards and gotten worse and worse to now where he's more of a high profile celebrity, like big names going after governments and shit. Now they're doing the same thing they're doing to him with like no trial, no bail, speech crimes. They're doing it to BLM activists. They're doing it to militia members. They're doing it to random fucking people, you know? So that's like really important.
These are just the ones that we know of. You know what I mean? How many more are there that we don't know of?
Yeah, I literally learned about Lauren Reed from somebody here. Like I had no idea. Like it was the guy from Al Jazeera that was texting me. He was like, "Have you heard of Lauren Reed?" I'm like, "No, who the fuck is that?" He's like, "Yes, is indigenous BLM activist," and they grabbed him for the two things he was being charged with. Is he sent text messages through Signal about joking around burning a courthouse. Like he was like, no, we're gonna go burn the courthouse with like a smiley face. That was inciting a riot. And then he painted ACAB on rocks and like left them like leaning against something. He left like 10 of them or something like that. And they said that was like trying to like give ammunition to people to like start violence. And it's like if he had like a bucket. Maybe if he had like a bucket of rocks or he was bringing like pieces of brick or whatever, but he literally took like stones that were like this big and painted on them and then like left them around. And that's like, how is that much different than fucking street art, you know? And I guess the way I'm interpreting that is what?
I mean, even if he did leave like a bucket of rocks or something, I mean, that's not a crime. So, I mean,
that's not a crime, no.
Well, the thing is too, there is a thing where people do paint rocks and you hide them around the city, and then if you find it, you take a picture of it and you post it. So
that's exactly what he was doing, and he's facing 10 years in prison for that. So I was like, what the fuck? And I just found out about that, and no national coverage, whatever. Only the local community cares about it, which is the recurring theme that we're gonna keep bringing up on the shows a million fucking times over of local shit that nobody talks about all the fucking time. And that's why the next week definitely is going to be like a whole fuck ton of people probably of because we're going to be, I guess this is the point where we talk about what we're doing next. I don't know, Kitty, if you want to run down, like you already talked about the Saturday thing, but what's going on in Columbus eventually. And then we have what's going on in Lansing, and then there's Lobby Day, and then there's fucking what we're doing with Rome. So like what you know of like the next 2 months or whatever the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, stuff's definitely starting to pick up again because it's now getting to these year anniversary things of this. You know, she had just mentioned April 11th. April 11th was the day that Anthony Hulan died also.
And that's where we're going to be out, right?
We're actually going to do it April 3rd. The Hulan family will be in Lansing. So what happened recently, while we were in Louisville, this is what got dropped. So we came back to this, was that the Attorney General, Dana Nessel, is not pursuing charges on the police officers.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
What's that?
Anyone who watched 2 weeks ago, I guess it is now, because we skipped this last week. We did an episode on it that included Anthony Hulan, but the quickest of recaps, homie essentially had like 5 or 6 cops just stand on him until he died.
Yep.
Pretty much. So
and the coroner actually ruled it as positional asphyxiation. So it was literally murder. Like the coroner was saying he was murdered.
Yeah, he didn't die of natural causes. He died because he was being literally fucking crushed.
Yeah, and there's video of it also.
So we're gonna be out. We're gonna be out for that on the 3rd. You said.
Yes, and
okay.
I'll have more information when we get things more organized for that. But yeah, it's the day that we're gonna do it.
And then the 26th is I'm not sure if it's still going on or not. I have to double check. But Unholy Rome on Twitter. He's a local Detroit just kind of activist that does everything. He's a Marxist or whatever, and he runs around, just does direct action. His whole thing is like, don't talk about being a Marxist if you're not out every single day being a Marxist, clothing homeless people and taking care of your community and shit, which gets my respect from me. Even if I disagree with you, you're living your principles, so we can talk. And he put the call out to where he does a big food and clothes drive in Detroit, and he usually has people come out and try to fucking steal shit from him and steal donations and fuck with people. And he put a call out for security, and I hit him up on Twitter and I was like, yo, I can send some people. So a couple people from Michigan will probably be going to that. I might be going to that, but I'm so fucking poor right now, dude, because I've been running around so much. I really need to work. But if I can afford to go there, I'm going to go there.
What state's that one in?
That's in Detroit.
Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I won't be making that one.
Yeah. I might not be making that one. I'm going to be trying.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make that one, but I can't guarantee it. I need to get caught up on money. And then then we have the 2A rally day, which is going to be really fun because it's going to be us surrounded by a whole bunch of conservatives and shit. It's going to be really interesting. But what day is that? I know we don't know the exact date, but what date generally is that?
I haven't looked more in to see if they've got anything planned, because we've always wanted to do this anyways. There are plenty of leftists who are 2A advocates. And everybody, and I think that's where the Boogs got their white supremacist stereotype from. I mean, I'm sure there's more behind it with the 4chan and shit like that, but a lot of people can't move past that because of the guns. Who do they usually see carrying guns? Militia, and militias technically are usually always conservative or right wing. And you guys are just here everybody just needs to be free. You
got us that are more libertarians, and then you got people like you and fucking NFC and everything, armed leftists and shit. We marched with 2 armed leftists in fucking Louisville that had hammer and sickle balaclavas and shit. They were cool to us the whole time. So
I mean, you've got the Black Panthers. You got there's a couple groups around here like PDL and 313 and other
Socialist Rifle Association of Michigan. I mean, I know you guys hate me and you do nothing but talk shit about me on Twitter, but I'm still happy that you exist.
And you got the John Brown Gun Club.
Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. We're gonna be doing that rally day, and then
which is kind of funny because I am a socialist. Hey.
Right. Aren't you technically a member of the SRA?
No.
Okay, no, I have someone else. No, Misty, who was just on, actually. She's a member of the Socialist Rifle Association, too. So that's one reason Misty's cool. But, and then I guess really quick, I'll do this last one, and then we're going to wrap up. The eviction moratorium is coming up shortly, and they're probably going to start booting people. So I'm going to start putting some stuff out to try to because I talked to some people in Vegas that were really interested, and they're asking for help on this, and I have to reach out to some people I know in Vegas. And I obviously want to do it in Michigan and wherever you are, wherever the fuck you're watching this. When they start to try to kick people out, I want to be there, and I want groups essentially, because I've been sharing around. There was a event in Michigan in 1953 called the Widows Riots, and essentially what it was that they were starting to evict people, widows from World War II and shit like that. The insurance companies were trying to go around and evict them and take them off their property. And the local farmers showed up and literally like hogtied the fucking sheriffs and shit, threw them in the back of the truck and like dumped them off at the police station and put up signs saying like, you're not evicting these people. And if you try to do it again, we're going to fuck you up. That's the kind of energy that I'm like trying to get on is when they start running around these communities and kicking people out. Like it's one thing. It's like, oh, they just didn't pay their rent. Well, they couldn't pay their rent because they couldn't fucking work and they didn't get any fucking stimulus, or the bank stole their stimulus, or like, whatever. And they're about to start kicking everybody the fuck out. And I do not want, so there'll be more to come on that. I obviously have no details yet because I literally had this idea like this morning. So, but I'll update people.
Well, we can help you reach out to tenant unions that are already out doing that type of work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the best people to connect up with.
The question is how far are they willing to push it? Because I'm talking like I ain't moving. Yeah. I'm gonna be there with I'm gonna be there the way I always am and be like, fuck you. So
right.
Are these people fighters, or the ones that are like, oh, well, as soon as the riot cops show up, we get arrested and leave?
Well, I know some of them, what they do is they'll stay there until the landlord will sign, like they kind of work as a mediator between the landlord and the tenant.
To get like an agreement or something?
Right.
And I guess like in instances like that, then like I don't have to be the way I am. Right. But like if it comes to the point where like there's mass evictions and shit and that's out the window, they don't give a fuck, there's no negotiations, pack up all your shit, old lady, and get on the street, then like, no, we're gonna be out there, we're gonna do something about that. So stay tuned.
Yeah, so again, that's why you work with the local communities, get with the groups that are already doing this stuff. So then, you kind of do radicalize them while you're in there talking to them.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's really all. I got to get back to fucking with everybody that's here. Is there anything any y'all want to say real quick before we bounce out, or are we just gonna call it?
Caboose, you got anything going on?
Just you guys. I mean, I'm gonna be hanging out in Charlotte for Juneteenth with the Black Panthers.
Oh yeah.
And are you guys coming to that?
I'm not gonna. I wish I could, but
I mean that's a couple months down the road though. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, like if right now either I get a better job where I still have the freedom to travel, where I make more money, or people literally fucking pay me to go around. That's kind of where I'm at, unfortunately. And I don't expect people to pay me to go around. I'm not asking for people to pay me to go around, but like that's where we're at. So like if people want me to show up to places and they're willing to like kind of to help me out do that, then I'll go anywhere. I'll like if my fucking food and board is covered and I'm not going to get evicted from my own ass house, then I'll spend my whole fucking day driving around the whole goddamn country doing this. Right. I don't have a problem with that at all. But
I got you. I'll come the weekend before, pick you up, and you can spend the weekend in the truck with me. For a while.
But I gotta have my bills fucking paid though. That's the thing. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody for watching. We'll be back next week. I'm gonna start uploading videos, and I'm gonna start taking clips from all the live streams I've been on and all of our live streams stuff and uploading clips. So that'll be cool. That'll be on the YouTube, which is also just Magnus Pen Video. And
and we'll toss some links in for this Saturday's event in like the comments or wherever you do that.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description as soon as I get home because I jump on the plane tomorrow at 12, and then I'm home tomorrow, so I'm gonna start jumping on the computer and doing all that, taking this a little more seriously. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
All right. Well, I love y'all, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. Stay safe, stay free.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.